Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
is there a height limit in boxing?
What happens when the most controversial internet sensation takes aim at one of boxing's most explosive fighters? You get absolute chaos, and that's exactly what's unfolding between Jake Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis right now. These two might live in completely different weight classes, but the controversy brewing between them has taken the boxing world by storm.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown. He's a clown. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come
yeah,
on, man?
I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first, I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making it look. But now that I see that I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He was really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah.
Like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah. Gotta be mentally tough to be in a box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
It all started with Jake doing what Jake does best, stirring the pot. He made some wild comments about Tank during his recent post-fight press conference, taking shots at his height, legal troubles, and fiery personality. For most people, Jake's trash talk is just part of the show. But Tank? Oh, he took it personally. And when Tank's mad, let's just say things get intense real quick. But get this, Tank isn't all innocent here either. If anything, he poked the bear. This isn't just another internet beef, it's the kind of clash that has fans wondering if these two will actually step into the ring. So, what exactly did Jake say that's got Tank all heated up? Let's break it down. Alright, so here's how this fiery beef between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis went from 0 to 100 in no time. This came right after Jake stepped into the ring with none other than Mike Tyson. Unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you know Mike came out of retirement for what Jake called the event of the decade. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. The fight was criticized across the globe, with fans and analysts calling it a lackluster bout. Tyson, far from his prime, barely managed to land any punches, and Jake cruised to an easy, unanimous decision win. While the problem child celebrated his big win, the fight world remained unimpressed.
So what did you think of the fight?
It wasn't a good one.
It wasn't a good one. No. Yeah. Overall, how'd you just see how Jake fought, how Mike fought?
Well, you can tell something was wrong with the Tyson leg.
Yeah, the knee.
So he couldn't. His balance was off.
Oh, that's crazy. You noticed that. I just talked to his trainer and he told me that exact thing.
Yeah.
His balance was off.
His balance was off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, overall, like, how do you see Jake growing from this, and who do you want to see him fight against now?
Well, I'm like, he's a pretty good fighter.
Enter Gervonta "Tank" Davis. He wasn't about to sit quietly while Jake gloated about beating a 58-year-old version of one of the sport's greatest icons. Tank immediately took to social media, and let's just say he didn't hold back. In an Instagram story, he went straight for the jugular, calling Jake a bozo and a head for even staging the fight. He slammed Jake for not delivering a knockout despite being 30 years younger and heavily favored. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. Tank's frustration wasn't just about Jake's performance, it was about the audacity of promoting such a fight in the first place. To him, it wasn't just a bad look for Jake, it was an embarrassment for boxing as a whole. But Tank didn't stop there. He made it personal, promising to beat the brakes off Jake if they ever crossed paths. And just like that, the spark of a potential fight was lit. Tank followed up with a touching tribute to Mike Tyson, reminding everyone of Iron Mike's unparalleled legacy and calling him a legend who deserved better than this circus. It was like Tank was saying, respect the man, respect the sport, and stop turning it into a joke. Now, if you think Jake Paul was going to let that slide, think again. At his post-fight press conference, Jake was asked about Tank's comments, and he didn't hesitate to fire back with a classic Jake Paul twist. "I'd be down. Let's run it," Jake said, flashing that infamous cocky grin.
Are you out of retirement?
When did I retire?
Bro, I haven't seen you in like a year or 2 years.
I'm on the road all the time. I'm traveling. You gotta invite me.
I miss you, Ellie.
I miss you too, but first of all, congratulations. Tremendous event, A to Z. One of the best events I've ever been to.
Thank
now,
you.
you called out Canelo in the ring. Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
is there a height limit in boxing?
But then he couldn't resist a jab at Tank's height, quipping, "Is there a height limit in boxing? If there's one thing you don't do, it's mock someone as dangerous as Tank Davis, even if he's 5'5", to Jake's 6'1". Jake's response added fuel to the fire. He dismissed Tank's criticisms, calling the fight with Tyson a success, and thanking his fans, military personnel, and even farmers, because why not? But behind the bravado, Jake knew he'd poked the bear, and that bear was ready to maul. Tank's social media posts quickly gained traction, with fans rallying behind him, calling Jake's fight with Tyson a cash grab and a mockery of the sport.
And he's a baby clown. Tell him get ready. That's what they do. They like to talk off of, they try to get fame off of other people's victories and things like that. So it shouldn't be no more talking. It should be just work.
Now Jake Paul has made a career out of pushing boundaries, whether it's trash-talking opponents, stirring up drama, or flexing his internet fame.
You claim you're a professional boxer, but you don't want to make the fight with me, who you've talked so much shit about, who you said you will spark, who you say I'm nothing compared to you? Where's all that shit talk now, Tommy? You're a atypical professional boxer who doesn't want to make this fight actually fucking happen. This is the biggest opportunity of your fucking life, and you're fumbling the fucking bag once again, and I can't believe how fucking stupid you are.
This time, he might have gone too far. While trash talk is a normal part of the boxing world, Jake's remarks hit a nerve with Gervonta, and Tank didn't take the comments lightly. Shortly after the press conference, Gervonta went straight to X, calling Jake out. Tank's fiery response shouldn't have been a surprise to anyone who knows his history. Gervonta Davis is one of the most talented fighters in the game, but his temper? That's a whole other fight. Let's rewind for a second. Gervonta has had multiple run-ins with the law, often tied to his inability to control his anger. In 2021, he faced charges after a hit-and-run incident in Baltimore, which left several people injured.
All right, analysts, thank you for that update. And developing now at noon, a well-known boxer is in jail right now following his arrest in Parkland.
Gervonta Davis is facing a domestic violence charge. It comes after he's had a host of past legal troubles. So let's go over to Local 10 News reporter Roy Ramos.
Yeah, he's live outside the jail in Fort Lauderdale with the latest. Roy?
Alexis and Sanella, this all happened just 11 days before his next scheduled professional fight. We've just gathered new details from the Broward Sheriff's Office as to what happened. We'll get to those in a little bit, but I want to show you what he looks like. You're looking at the mugshot of 28-year-old star boxer Gervonta Davis. He was arrested Tuesday night by Broward Sheriff deputies following what they described as a domestic incident at his Parkland home. And we've just gathered these new details that say he was involved in some sort of an altercation with a woman.
Fast forward to 2023, he pleaded guilty but dodged jail time, getting hit with 90 days of house arrest, 3 years of probation, and some community service. But hold up, it doesn't end there. While on house arrest, Tank gets hauled back into custody during a surprise court hearing. And that's just one chapter of his legal drama. Let's not forget his domestic violence charges. In 2020, he was caught on camera grabbing the mother of his child by the neck during a public event. Tank said he didn't hit her, but the footage? Yeah, it wasn't a good look. And then, in 2022, he was accused of slapping another woman, leading to a 911 call where she straight up said, "He's going to kill me." Later, she recanted, but the damage to his image? Already done. So here's the thing. While Gervonta's hands are legendary in the ring, his off-ring behavior has people asking if he's fighting more battles outside than in. Boxing pros and pundits have long pointed out that while Tank's aggression in the ring makes him a terrifying competitor, that same aggression off the ring has cost him dearly. His short temper has led to public altercations, heated arguments, and, let's be real, a pretty tarnished reputation outside the boxing bubble. Here's the thing, Tank's explosive personality is part of what makes him such a compelling figure in boxing. When he's mad, he fights like an absolute beast. And right now, Jake Paul seems to have unlocked that side of him.
Gervonta Davis, who's like this real pro boxer.
What? I'm gonna break your jaw, I promise you. Don't even bring your mother or your daughter. Don't bring her.
He was fighting trash cans.
Yeah.
Guys who were just put in there to lose. That's not what I'm doing.
Would you take that fight right away if Gervonta Davis like called you out? Like if he said, "I want Jake Paul right now," would you take that?
Yeah, 100%.
And do you think you would win that fight with the time that... Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Jake isn't exactly innocent in this situation. We all know he's the king of internet antics. And when Tank clapped back, Jake doubled down. On Twitter, Jake posted a photoshopped image of himself holding a baby version of Gervonta with the caption, "Gotta put this child to sleep soon." Jake's fans loved it, but Tank? Not so much. Now let's talk about the fight everyone suddenly wants to see. Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul. Is it even possible? The biggest challenge lies in their weight classes. Gervonta fights at lightweight, while Jake competes at cruiserweight or heavyweight. That's a massive gap, but boxing has seen crazier things. A catchweight bout at around 155-165 lbs could make sense, though Tank has never fought anywhere near that weight, and Jake's size advantage would be hard to ignore. Style-wise, the matchup is just as intriguing. Tank is known for his explosive power, lightning-fast speed, and ability to capitalize on his opponent's mistakes, with a KO ratio that speaks volumes.
How you put your balance felt like? Just like that. Just like that.
On the other hand, Jake has shown surprising boxing fundamentals, solid stamina, and an effective jab that helps him manage distance, something he's relied on against larger opponents. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If this fight happens, it's not just a collision of personalities, but a clash of two completely different fighting styles. Could Tank's ferocity and skill overcome Jake's size and reach? Or would Jake's physical advantages prove too much for Tank? The debate is fiery, the possibilities endless, and the hype is already through the roof. Come on, this would be an epic blockbuster fight. Let's get real for a second. Boxing will never be the same after the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight. Love it or hate it, this spectacle didn't just break the mold, it smashed it, stomped on it, and threw it out the window. It was a cultural event, not just a match. A 27-year-old YouTuber turned fighter taking on a 58-year-old heavyweight legend in front of 70,000 fans at AT&T Stadium. Oh, now let's talk legacy. Sure, the fight itself wasn't a masterpiece. Tyson landed only 18 punches out of 97, and Jake basically played nice to keep things from turning into a total retirement home debacle. But the impact? Massive. This fight proved that in boxing today, literally any matchup is possible. Forget weight classes, age limits, or even, common sense. If the hype is there and the dollars are rolling in, it's happening. Because apparently, Jake believes Canelo needs him. Yeah, you heard that right. Jake said, "Canelo needs me. He knows where the money man is at." Bold? Absolutely. Delusional? Maybe. But after Friday's spectacle, who's gonna say it's impossible? And here's where things get really wild. The Tyson-Paul fight didn't just deliver numbers. It delivered a new blueprint. Jake doesn't care about purists crying in their coffee. He's got the formula down. Hype up the fight, play the villain, and cash the check. The audience? Hooked. It's not even about the fight anymore, it's about the show. Fans aren't just buying tickets, they're buying a moment in history. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about Jake. The success of this fight means we're heading into a new era of boxing, where fantasy matchups are no longer just fantasy. Imagine Tyson coming back to face Lennox Lewis at 59. Sounds crazy, right? But so did Tyson versus Jake. And look how that turned out. The financial upside is just too insane to ignore. And let's not overlook the influence of this fight on future matchmaking. Jake might pivot back to fighting journeyman boxers to pad his record and aim for a cruiserweight championship. But are in their prime, and Gervonta "Tank" Davis? Oh, he's at the absolute peak of his career.
Power. Precision. And extraordinary talent. These are Gervonta Davis's attributes. Davis, also known as Tank, is one of the rising stars in boxing with a perfect record of 29 wins, 27 of which are by knockouts. He is a former 3-division world champion and has been mentored by none other than Floyd Mayweather Jr. With his exciting journey, let's look back and watch all of his jaw-dropping knockout finishes.
Gervonta Davis at 22 becomes the youngest champion in boxing!
Due to the absence of footage from Gervonta Davis's early career, we will skip his first 11 fights and 10 knockout wins. Instead, we will proceed to his 12th fight and showcase his 11th knockout victory.
Let's break it down. Gervonta Davis isn't just another boxer, he's a phenomenon. At 29 years old, this dude has a perfect record with 29 wins, 27 by knockout. Yeah, you heard that right, 27 KOs. He's one of the hardest hitters in the game, pound for pound, and his career highlights are absolutely stacked.
Your thoughts on Tank Davis?
Man, he's a great fighter. He's a great fighter. He's surprised me a couple of times. We've had some word exchanges.
Yes.
But it's all for fun. I hope this fight with Ryan Garcia happens.
Who you leaning on?
It's a 50-50 fight, in my opinion. You know, Gervonta hasn't shown the ability to win a lot of rounds against taller fighters, and then he relies on the knockout in the later rounds, which has worked for him. But if Ryan could avoid that, I think it'll be his power and speed will be and range will be a problem for Gervonta. But if Ryan gets caught, we see what Luke Campbell did.
Yeah.
And Gervonta is obviously a way bigger puncher than Luke. So it's really, in my eyes, the fight could go either way.
So, could Jake Paul actually handle someone like Gervonta? Honestly, that's the million-dollar question. Gervonta is smaller in size, but the dude's skills make up for any size disadvantage. Jake might be bigger, but Gervonta's got the explosiveness and experience to close that gap real quick. Plus, let's be real, if Jake wants to be taken seriously, he needs a fight like this. Enough with the washed-up opponents. We're talking about an athlete in his prime who's walking out with their hand raised, Jake or Tank. Let us know in the comments below. Oh, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more explosive boxing news.